Good afternoon and welcome to the Kerry Garden Show. Alan Finn back with you here at Boyles of Killorglin. It's a little bit cloudy, it started to rain, but we still have a little bit of Spain here with us. It's our gardening expert, Miguel. How are you, Miguel?
I'm okay, thank you, Alan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you getting on with the Scaravine?
I don't know why is that, I'm Spanish.
Yeah, I know. Well, I tell you what, even I'm from Galway and I knew nothing about the Scaravine, but the Scaravine is something, it's literally an Irish weather tradition, or it's an Irish weather phenomenon that happens down here in the southwest, mainly Clare, Cork and Kerry, and it's basically the erratic weather.
All right.
How we can go from one extreme to the next. It happens from mid-April to mid-May. And the tale goes that it's Mother Nature's way of hardening up the plants and making everything good and green. So what do you reckon of it?
I don't even.
Does it explain a little bit though? It explains a little bit.
That's explaining a few things that I have seen, like having a nice day in my porch and going back to the front door and being raining,
and then nearly turning on the heat. Turning on the heat.
Turning back and the sun is down there. What is it raining on the other side of the house?
Well, there you go. It could be the Scaravine.
It could be.
Anyway, we're not going to talk too much more about the weather because we are going to be talking about what you said earlier to me was the biggest, most popular part of horticulture / gardening.
I will say
it is the rose.
Yeah, I would say it's the biggest world inside this world.
The biggest world within this world.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
all right.
And it's just thousands and thousands of different varieties, different colors, different scents, different types of growing, many disasters. It's people that dedicates their life to hybrid, mixing, telling roses, to see if they get a new variety and get one of these contests and get the first prize.
Yes, first prize. Yeah. So you were saying
people dedicate.
Yeah, you were saying to me that there really is actually thousands and thousands of types of roses that whenever you're like going to even order them for here in Boyles of Killorglin, it's one of the hardest things to do.
We were like 4 or 5 days, 2 people just
focusing on it.
Checking with other people, do you like this? Because it's extremely big catalog for getting the roses, extremely big. And we were qualifying them in nice, very nice and super nice.
Yeah, super nice, yes, very good.
And then we decided what to bring and just seeing what these very fantastic mixes of colors from blue, kind of dark, to pale blues or very dark pinks or reds. It's an amazing, amazing world, amazing world.
And of course we have a special place for a rose here in Kerry with the Rose of Tralee Festival. And the Tralee Town Park always looks fantastic whenever all the roses are in bloom. But there are a lot of people at home who are literally just obsessed with their roses. So we're going to do a little bit of a show. Now, we didn't, we missed the pruning season. That is well and truly over. So anybody who's had their gardens, like they took their time. They took their time getting to roses, but we're here now. So the pruning season is over. Right now, the foliage is growing. It's sprouting. It's nice and green. What sort of things are happening at the moment in the garden with people's roses?
So, well, you couldn't even have 1 or 2 roses already in some certain places, depending on the pruning and depending on the type of the roses. Maybe climbing roses, if you didn't prune them, well, you shouldn't prune them very hard anyway, but they could have a couple roses, even if it's in a sheltered, sunny place. It depends on the pruning. You could see already a few buds.
And we did have a kind of fairly warm, bright kind of start to the year. It was dry as well too, so that might actually mean there'll be a bit more roses.
But it's not. You shouldn't see any flowers.
Too many.
Yet. Just 1 or 2. They're still developing. They're still growing.
They're still growing. Yeah. Now I have mentioned as well too before. They are one of the hungriest plants in the garden as well too, but for good reason, because when this drives to the top, when those flowers start bursting, that is what everyone just loves to see, and that's what everyone wants for their garden.
And for that, you need to be doing your job, your
all year
house,
round.
Exactly, do your homework before. You cannot wait till their flowers are developing to start feeding it. So you start feeding it early in the season when they start opening. If you're growing them in pots, I will very recommend to change, if you can, the soil, or just take take out the roots a little bit or
Okay.
get new soil, because when they start growing,
Yeah.
they will have new compost and they will be very grateful.
They'll be very grateful.
If you
okay.
leave them, if you don't feed them, they will be having a very weakest flowering every year.
Yeah,
So it's very, very important feeding them properly.
So let's just say I come in here now and I'm looking at everything here is in a pot and I want to start growing roses at home. And I take this, let's just say this, take this rose here home. What are the things that I need to do to get this rose performing its best? Is it going to perform well for me year one, or is this the sort of thing that if I do things right this year, next year it'll be amazing?
You should have a few flowers
Yeah.
this year. If you repot it, if you plant it on the ground immediately or you repot it, they will be growing, the roots will be growing. First year they are establishing,
Yes.
and you will expect decent flowering, but the second year is when you should
It's when
see,
the real,
when they should see the
when they
very,
true seed. So they need to settle.
they need to settle, and then you need to prune them after the first year. Prune them right for making the most of it. And give it a shape, give it a shape. It's a very few tips that are very important now. Even if the roses are pruned already for next year, you should have a few tips, like is depending on the type of the roses.
Okay.
But definitely you should have the cut on an angle,
An angle, yeah.
and the angle that is not facing the bud, to avoid the water going through and getting into the bud. So
Okay.
the cut, the diagonal, should be on the other opposite
kind
side
of away
of the
from
bud.
away from the buds.
Not cutting very high over a bud, just
Okay.
cutting a half a centimeter, 50 millimeters, will be ideal. So
Okay.
you don't have to leave a very long stem between buds.
Yes.
And that's general. Don't go, depending on the type of the rose, it has a different pruning. So hybrid teas and floribunda, you can go lower to 1/3 or half of the size of the rose in March. In February or March, late winter. So
Yeah.
don't go very low, but you can go lower. You can prune them harder. Then the floribunda, the climbers
Climbers, yes.
and the rugosa rose are different, and the patio roses.
Patio
So
roses, yeah.
the way you prune them, if you have a climbing rose with, this one is a climbing rose. It
Yes.
has 3 stems, all right?
Okay,
It has 3
right.
stems. If it has only 1 stem, the climbing rose, you cannot go very hard, no more than half.
Okay.
If you have 3, what you have to do is same, not going very hard, but then you can rejuvenate the plant, just going to, if eventually this one will be much thicker than the others,
Okay.
and you'll have shootings on the side. You can just go and get rid of the thickest one,
Okay.
rejuvenate the plant, but go to the base, don't go
Halfway or anything
exactly.
like that. You have to go to
Same
the base,
with
yeah.
rugosa roses. The way of pruning them is getting the oldest part of the rose and pruning them.
Okay, so the
ground
one that's
level.
kind of the most established and the longest one, what you want to do is you want to keep encouraging the others to kind of balance out, is it?
So exactly what you do this way in climbing is just getting this old wood will start having a weakest flowering after a few years.
Oh, right, so that's the reason for
That's
it.
the reason you need to get rid of that, to get the other ones that are skinnier, are thinner. Those ones will be getting better flowering after. So
'Cause I
that
guess
will be giving more flowers now in a couple for a few years.
Because I guess the big one would probably take a lot more as well too of the nutrients and stuff, would it?
Well, it's just you have to, at the end, it's like anything industrial, call it this way. When the plant is going down, you have to get rid of, or if you're hard pruning or getting new plants, it's the same. When this goes old, you get rid of it, and leave the young fellas.
Young fellas go.
Yeah, go. Exactly. That's part of life. Same with the rugosas. Those are very nice plants for seaside areas. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Okay.
And in patio roses,
okay, so the patio rose.
it's the same. It's basically the same. You go to the stem you want to get rid of, and get rid, and you see new shootings everywhere.
So this obviously is a lot smaller. This is like your ground cover, your small little roses.
That's a ground cover. Sorry,
that's a ground cover rose. Yeah.
The ground cover, you shouldn't be pruning them, except in the long shootings. If you want to get rid of them, this one has a flower.
Yeah.
But eventually, if you want to keep the shape, just go with a hedge clippers. Trimmers. Or trimmer. something and just chop, but they don't like very hard.
Okay.
If you prune them the same style as a hybrid, you will have a very, very poor flowering for a couple of years.
Oh, okay, right. So you're doing a lot of damage.
Same with climbers. So, and that's the patio one.
Yeah.
The patio one, you get rid of the thickest as well to prune it. Don't go. You can prune them, obviously, but just to make it better and bigger, just go eventually.
So
not
the patio,
just when they are established, and you need to give them a good. Those are small fellas.
Yeah. Anyway. So this small little patio rose, it's a sunseeker, it's called. I know you'd probably go with the Latin, but I'll go with the common names. They've got a lot more kind of shoots coming out, and the same with the ground cover. While I see the other ones are just kind of the real kind of single ones that go up. Which one is going to have more flowering?
So see, it's different patterns of growth.
Yeah.
And well, it's not the more flowers, it's the type of flowers, the scent of the flowers.
Yeah.
At the end, as they grow differently, you have to perform. You can expect different type of flowers. As the patio and the ground cover are smaller roses, while the Floribunda, hybrid, and climbers are bigger roses.
Okay.
And
so
this
these
is
are all
totally
the things
different patterns of growth.
Yeah.
You can see even the leaves are different.
They are. So these are the sort of things, sorry, Miguel, that people need to kind of know about and think about. A lot of people could come up, look at this and go, oh, look at the label and say, oh, this looks lovely. But realistically, there's a lot of different things they need to kind of think about. They could be expecting this big, huge rose at the top. What are those ones? Let's talk about the different types, because there's tea, hybrid tea. Obviously, you've talked about the Floribunda and
English roses, polyantha. There's plenty of.
We won't go all
ones.
through thousands of them, but what are the most popular ones that you found?
So the most popular ones are hybrid teas, Floribunda as well, but I will say hybrid tea is definitely the most popular.
Yeah.
They come, so it's an all roses, all garden roses or heritage or antique roses.
Yeah.
That they were till 1867. And they were very scented, but they were flowering once a year only.
Okay.
They started developing through crossbreeding in 1867 these hybrid teas. But they were they have a very prolonged flowering. They can be flowering till the first frost, basically. Yeah. And trying to keep the same scent.
Okay.
And that's the start of the modern roses, we call.
Okay.
And then they start developing different varieties, Floribunda with different crosses.
So as you're saying, so the traditional rose literally just used to flower once, and then obviously the horticulturists wanted to obviously prolong that.
Enjoy the whole summer.
Exactly.
They are beautiful. The flowers are extremely beautiful. And if you have them only for a couple of weeks or 3 weeks, it's just a very
short.
Very short for the hard job.
For a hard work, So all of these hybrids, because obviously the word hybrid, you cross over, it just means that you get more flowering for longer, which is
exactly. And they're probably not. Well, I wasn't there at that time to smell them. But I think you will probably trying to keep just much as this scent of them
as
of
possible.
The old ones. Yeah. Some of them are wonderful, and the scent is just amazing.
Yeah.
Some of them have no scent, but they are
beautiful
things.
Yeah.
And that's something that you have to have in mind as well. If you want a very beautiful rose that you would have in your mind, that it could be not very scented. But that's the way it is. You can say, the big word that it is, because they were breeding roses in 1867.
Wow, yeah.
So it's just not like a few days ago.
No, that they started developing. Yeah, absolutely.
It's an amazing work.
Yeah.
And you will never get the whole. It's just you could be your entire life dedicated to this, or you wouldn't see the end of it,
Yeah. But let's let a secret out of the bag here now. Because you weren't originally a fan of roses, were you, Miguel?
No, actually I wasn't.
And to be honest, there was good reason. So tell us the reason why you weren't a big fan of roses at the start.
Actually, in the last few years, they have developed new roses that are tolerant to mildew and a few more things, rust. But they basically get everything.
Okay.
And you have to be constantly spraying them with the rose clear.
Yeah.
And checking for I just spotted a few green flies in the rugosa rose. So you have to be constantly on top of it.
Okay, so when you say they get everything, you're talking about a lot of problems.
There's
a lot of problems with them, so that's why the constant care has to come with roses.
Exactly, and you have to be pruning properly, because you can kill a full stem. Can be dead if you don't. If the secateurs are not sharp enough, and you make a split in the middle when you're cutting, or if they are dry, if they are dirty, they can get nearly everything.
Infected,
so they are delicate
and
things,
like
and then they're very, on the other hand, they're very hardy and robust, and they grow spectacularly. So it's a balance between trouble and beauty, you know. But now when I came here in Ireland and I saw the vast amount of different varieties and the beauty of the flowers and the scent of them, and then you start seeing you were not keen on them because you didn't know them. You know,
you were falling in love with them again, then Miguel, huh? Just like the rest of us.
I love every plant, and if I don't love them very much, it's because I don't know them.
Yes, well, I suppose that's it. That's always a very good point.
I've seen only. I wish you can use for green flies. You can do an infusion of garlic. That's what the Queen of England, or the gardeners of the
gardeners.
Now he's a king, but he used to be a king.
Yeah, queen. He will be very shortly. Yeah.
So they're using garlic for treating the green flies.
Okay. Wow. So it's just again a repellent.
Yeah, and it kills them.
Yeah.
It kills them actually. Yes.
Oh wow.
So you can do some of the new organic green fly killers are based in garlic. And you can do your own at home, just smashing a few cloves and shaking in a bottle of water.
Yeah.
Filter it and spray, and it's an organic thing.
That's great to know. So that's just for green fly. But as you said, there is a lot of other stuff here, and you mentioned it already. We pointed it out. We have here the Rose Clear, which obviously a lot of gardeners will be very, very familiar with. Kills your little bugs, your green fly, your black fly. It tries to control fungus like the black spot, the mildew, and the rust. The rust, I guess that it looks like rust, but what actually is it? Is that just
a fungus?
A fungus again that just gets onto the leaves and prevents them from...
it was just weakens the plant. Basically, all these fungus, the mildew and everything, they won't kill the plant. That they will make it very, very weak. And you won't. If you already have rust, and you spray with this, it will be killing the fungus, but the rust will
still be
stay
in the plant.
There, right?
Okay.
Don't expect that it's going to disappear like the mildew, that it goes.
Yeah.
It gets washed out.
Okay.
That will remain till next year when you prune them. And again, the new varieties are very tolerant, but you still see the fungus, the mildew especially, and rust.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Okay.
The good thing of the garlic for the green flies is that you spray with this, the wasp that eats these things, they will die if they eat
the wasp will?
Wasps.
Yeah.
There's some wasps and some bees that eat
green fly.
Eat green flies.
Yeah. And they will die as well.
How do you call it here? Ladybug or
the ladybirds?
Ladybug.
Yeah. The little red one with the black dots?
Yeah.
That's him.
They eat them as well.
Okay.
So if you spray with that, you will be killing the bees or the wasp that eat, while the garlic is good for them. But if you have rust, you're going to need to spray them.
Yeah. Now, what happens if you do find rust on your rose? What is there a procedure is there something that you need to do? Can you, while getting rid of one or two leaves with the spray, you said it stays in the plant, does it?
Ideally, you should be spraying no more than 3-4 times during the season with the Rose Clear.
Okay.
The rust will be remaining there. It won't expand anymore. It won't spread.
Okay.
But you'll have there till next year.
Oh.
That leaf is going to be like that. The whole season.
Yeah.
And then when you prune it next year, they will be disappearing. If you're lucky, you won't have this rust.
Okay.
But it will be coming. This is
you
have to deal with it, basically, and learn to live with it, because they will be always coming. It's just they bring it just like if you like the roses, you know that the rust.
Everyone knows.
Rust, mildew, and green fly come
They come part and parcel. Yeah. So it's just managing. It's managing it until you can get it a flower as best as possible.
Exactly.
So again, we've spoken about feeding, and we have our Westland Rose High Performance plant food. Now this is mainly and specifically just for roses. Okay, and tell us just briefly, because I remember you said that it's high in specific phosphorus, for green foliage, and potassium.
It's a balanced food for roses, specifically formula.
Yeah.
Specific formula, or specifically formulated for roses.
Okay.
And it's the best thing you can do.
Best thing you can use.
Aside from a little bit of farmyard manure in early spring, that's what you can use.
And how often would you use that, say now over the summer before the flowering starts, or would you wait until it flowers?
You feed it regularly.
That's
it.
Okay.
That's it. Don't forget about it. They need a lot of food while they're growing, so feed it regularly.
Yeah.
With no shame.
Okay.
The worst case scenario, there could be a few leaves burned. You check the leaves. Don't overdose them.
I was going to say, because you've been harping on about people overfeeding, but it's hard to overfeed a rose. But still, it is possible.
You can still do it,
yeah.
If you go mad. But follow the instructions, basically.
Okay.
And again, plants tell you. They normally, if you observe them, if you look at them, they will be telling you something. Maybe you cannot understand their language.
No.
But you can ask someone that.
Yeah, that will actually
do.
Yeah.
Because it's different. See, the new shoots are a little bit red in these fellas, but then they go red. And then if you don't know about roses, you can see, why are they red?
Yeah.
That's normal.
Yeah.
But you never know.
You never know.
It's with the cold, they go, the leaves go darker.
Yeah.
You need to know that as well.
Okay, right. So there's nothing wrong, it's just the weather that it's reacting
Sometimes
to.
my lobelias are blue right now. And it is not with flowers.
It's not with flowers,
It's the cold that was a few weeks ago.
Yeah, they're basically shutting down for a while, saying, right, wait until the better weather comes. And hopefully it will come. And with that will come some beautiful flowers. And we will again be back revisiting this little bulb here. Is going to look fantastic in a few weeks' time, and we will of course be revisiting roses later in the summer. If you have any questions for Miguel to ask about any problems or any issues or any questions you might have, do please send them in to us here at Radio Kerry. Alan@radiokerry.ie is my email, or you can also just call reception on Radio Kerry on the usual number and just leave a question for Alan, and I'll get it to Miguel and we'll deal with it on another program. That's all we have time for. Miguel, thank you so much as always for bringing these beautiful roses. Can't wait to see what they look like, and I'd love to see what they look like in your garden. Until next time, from all of us here at Boyles of Clorglen, happy gardening.